Darnell Taylor was a 5-year-old boy whose life was tragically cut short in February 2024. His death is yet another reminder that every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child. Darnell had been in the foster care system since at least May 2023, when he was placed in the care of Pammy May and her husband. Details about Darnell's life before entering foster care are limited, but it was clear that the little boy had already experienced a lot of pain in his young life and deserved much more love and protection. The events leading to Darnell's death occurred on the night of February 13, 2024. According to court records, Pammy May allegedly suffocated Darnell around 11 p.m. that evening, approximately 6 hours before an Amber Alert was issued for the child. The reason behind May's actions remains unclear, but some details have surfaced from her later statements to police. In a confession captured on police body camera footage, May made references to being upset with Darnell for eating snacks in his bed and mentioned that he had previously been in trouble for swearing. From the standpoint of a parent, I can understand the frustration when your child doesn't listen to you. However, it goes without saying that violence should never be an option. After committing the murder, May followed several steps to conceal the crime. She initially hid Darnell's body in a closet in another part of the house for several hours. When her husband returned home from work, he went to bed assuming Darnell was asleep, unaware of what his wife had done. Approximately 2 hours after her husband went to bed, May took further steps to dispose of Darnell's body. She placed his remains in her Jeep and began searching for a location to hide them. In an attempt to avoid detection, she covered her vehicle's plate with an old license plate. She then drove to an area near her parents' home, where she found a sewage drain. It was there that she came up with the heartless idea to shove Darnell into the drain around 3 a.m. that same day. May's husband made a call to police, reporting that his wife had told him she had killed their foster child. During this call, a woman, later identified as May, could be heard screaming in the background. However, May's husband informed the police that both his wife and the child had left the residence before he made the call. This call prompted authorities to issue an Amber Alert for Darnell. At the time, police were unsure of Darnell's condition and believed he might still be alive and in immediate danger. The alert set off a frantic search for both May and Darnell, with authorities initially focusing on locating a Jeep Cherokee that the mother was believed to be driving. Following the call, May fled from Columbus, heading north on Interstate 71 towards Cleveland. She later explained to detectives that she chose this route because it was familiar to her. In a bizarre turn of events, she left her home wearing only a nightgown, later stating that she fled in this manner because she didn't want the police to interrogate her and wanted to explain the situation to her husband first. May's vehicle was found abandoned in a Cleveland suburb named Brooklyn hours after the Amber Alert was issued. However, May herself remained at large for another day. On the evening of February 15th, around 9 p.m., employees at Sanyo, an envelope manufacturer in Brooklyn, encountered a distressed woman who had entered their business without shoes. The woman, later identified as May, was crying and asking to call her husband, but refused to provide her name. The business then decided to call the police. Brooklyn law enforcement quickly arrived at the scene. Upon making contact with May, they took her into custody without resistance. At this point, May had been evading law enforcement for over 48 hours. Following her arrest, investigators questioned her about Darnell's whereabouts. It was during this interrogation that the horrifying truth was revealed to everyone. May confessed to killing Darnell and disclosed the location where she had hidden his body. Based on the information provided by May, Columbus police were directed to a specific location in Franklin County. In the early hours of February 16th, shortly after 1 a.m., authorities made the disturbing discovery of Darnell's body in a sewer drain on Marsdale Avenue. The Franklin County Coroner's Office conducted a thorough examination to determine the exact cause of death. On June 4, 2024, the coroner's report was released, revealing that Darnell had died from asphyxia by smothering with cervical neck compression, which aligned with May's confession. Following her arrest, Pammy May was extradited from Cuyahoga County back to Franklin County. On February 21st, she was initially charged with murder, kidnapping, and child endangerment in relation to Darnell's death. The very next day, she made her first court appearance via video feed from the Franklin County Correction Center. During this brief hearing, which lasted only 3 minutes, May showed no emotion and spoke only once to confirm her identity. The judge set her bail at a total of $4 million, $3 million for the murder charge, and the remainder for the kidnapping charge. As the case progressed, a grand jury indicted May on more severe charges. She now faces 1 count of aggravated murder, 3 counts of tampering with evidence, and 1 count of abuse of a corpse. On a side note, an interesting aspect of this case is May's mental health history. During her initial court appearance, it was revealed that she had been diagnosed with both bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. Additionally, the court noted that she had exhibited possessive and controlling behavior in the past. These issues have become a significant factor in May's legal defense strategy. While she initially pleaded not guilty to the charges, her attorney, Sam Shemansky, has indicated that she is likely to change her plea to not guilty by reason of insanity at a later date. Shemansky has emphasized that while May has been found competent to stand trial, her post-arrest comments may not be indicative of her mental state at the time of the offense. There are some who lean into this detail as an excuse for her actions. Sure, you could say it was a factor, but it's hardly an excuse. She still killed someone. However, this does bring into question how exactly she was found to be an appropriate foster parent, given her mental health history. Anthony Stocks is a 54-year-old man from Goring-on-Thames, Oxfordshire. He has been convicted of a series of horrific crimes involving the abuse of a young girl and the attempted murder of a boy who tried to protect her. His crimes took place between 2019 and 2022. The crimes only came to light when the young victim confided in her brother about what was happening to her. The girl's brother displayed extraordinary courage after learning about the abuse. Very little information is available to the public regarding the victims, which is understandable, but it is said that the brother was also very young. He attempted to intervene and stop Stocks from continuing his repulsive behavior. The boy literally put himself between Stocks and his sister, trying to create a barrier. Upon realizing that the boy had become aware of his crimes, Stocks feared that he would spread the word. In turn, he formed a plan to silence the boy. His first attempt involved taking the boy to a quarry in Oxfordshire, where he planned to push the child off the edge and into the water. However, at the last moment, Stocks changed his mind and did not go through with it. Still fearing that his crimes would be exposed, Stocks formulated another plan. On September 24, 2022, he took the boy out for a day of fun. They first visited Chelsea Football Club, then headed to Brighton. The final destination was the cliffs at Ovingdean near Brighton. There, Stocks carried out his horrific plan. He pushed the boy off the cliff edge, sending him plummeting approximately 30 meters, 100 feet, to the ground below. The fall was onto debris and rocks, with a concrete path just a few feet away, making the chances of survival slim. Miraculously, the boy survived the fall. However, he sustained serious injuries and continues to suffer from ongoing issues as a result of the attempted murder. Detective Sergeant Rachel Jackson described the case as, without a doubt, one of the worst cases of child abuse that I have investigated. Stocks was arrested on November 23, 2023, on suspicion of attempted murder, rape, and other sexual offenses. He was charged on the same day. The case was heard at Oxford Crown Court. During the trial, evidence was presented detailing Stock's abuse of the girl and his attempt to murder her brother, suffer from ongoing issues as a result of the attempted murder. Initially, the fall was thought to be an accident. This assumption likely allowed Stocks to believe he had successfully silenced the witness to his crimes. However, as the investigation progressed, the true nature of the incident was realized. The case became a joint investigation between Thames Valley Police and Sussex Police. During the course of their investigation, the full extent of Stock's crimes was uncovered, including the sexual abuse of the girl and the premeditated attempt on her brother's life. The jury heard how Stocks had told the girl about his plan to push her brother off the cliff, adding another layer of psychological trauma to his already disgusting acts. After considering the evidence, the jury reached a unanimous verdict. On July 26, 2024, Anthony Stocks was sentenced to life in prison. The judge ordered that he must serve a minimum of 19 years and 2 months before being eligible for parole. Throughout the investigation and trial, Stocks showed no remorse for his actions. Detective Rachel Jackson described him as an extremely dangerous individual who had no thought about anybody but himself. She noted that his attempt to murder the boy was solely to protect himself from prosecution. At the center of this final case are 2 victims, Danielle Hoyle, a 27-year-old mother, and her newborn daughter, Kennedy Hoyle. Kennedy was just 2 days old when she met her end. Danielle was described by family members as a caring mother who was last heard from on Tuesday night as she was driving her baby to the hospital. The events of this crime unfolded on February 1, 2022. Brandon Isabelle, the 25-year-old father of Kennedy, allegedly lured Danielle to a specific location in Memphis, Tennessee. Once there, Isabelle shot and killed Danielle. After murdering the mother, he then took Kennedy to Island Park and the Upper Mud Island boat ramp. When he reached his destination, Isabelle tossed the child into the water. The investigation began late into the night on that same date. Memphis police officers discovered an abandoned vehicle in Whitehaven, Tennessee. Near the car, they found the body of a 27-year-old woman who had been fatally shot, later identified as Danielle Hoyle. As the investigation heated up, police learned that Danielle had her 2-day-old daughter with her, but the baby was not found in the car. This discovery prompted an immediate search for the missing infant. On Wednesday morning, February 2nd, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued an Amber Alert for Kennedy Hoyle. The alert described Kennedy as weighing 6 pounds and measuring 17 inches long. She was last seen wearing a black and white polka dot onesie with pink pants. During the course of the investigation, police made a disturbing discovery. They found Kennedy's abandoned car seat near a Walmart dumpster in Whitehaven. This finding added to the growing concern for the baby's safety and whereabouts. Not long after, Brandon Isabelle was brought in as a suspect in Danielle's death. In a surprising turn of events, Isabelle waived his right to an attorney and chose to speak directly to the police. During this conversation, Isabelle made a shocking confession. According to the affidavit, Isabelle admitted to luring Danielle somewhere before shooting her. He then confessed to driving Kennedy to Island Park and the Upper Mud Island boat ramp, where he killed Kennedy by throwing her into the water. Isabelle also told police that he disposed of the gun used to shoot Danielle by throwing it into the Mississippi River and Wolf River Delta. Following Isabelle's confession, authorities launched an extensive search for Kennedy's remains. The search efforts were concentrated around the areas mentioned by Isabelle in his confession, particularly the Mississippi River and nearby bodies of water. Despite the efforts of law enforcement, the search for Kennedy's remains had to be paused late Wednesday night due to inclement weather. Isabelle was initially charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. one count of murder in the perpetration of aggravated kidnapping, especially aggravated kidnapping, tampering with evidence. He was held without bond, and his first arraignment hearing was scheduled for Friday, February 4th. As the legal process unfolded, more charges were added to the case. On September 15, 2022, a grand jury indicted Brandon Isabelle on charges of 2 counts of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse and neglect, aggravated kidnapping. This indictment formally brought the charges against Isabelle in a court of law, moving the case forward in the legal system. Brandon Isabelle pleaded not guilty to the charges of murdering Kennedy Hoyle and her mother, Danielle Hoyle, in Whitehaven. Isabel's defense team, led by attorney Lauren Fuchs, has indicated that they are looking into whether Memphis police may have coerced a guilty admission from Isabelle. This strategy suggests that the defense may attempt to challenge the validity of Isabelle's confession, which forms a crucial part of the prosecution's case. Attorney William Massey, who later joined Isabelle's defense team, has stated that they have not yet seen the alleged confession and are waiting to receive discovery materials from the state. The case has had a profound impact on the families involved. April Campbell, Danielle Hoyle's mother and Kennedy's grandmother, has been vocal about her grief and her desire for justice. She has expressed her determination to attend every court date, seeking answers and closure for the loss of her daughter and granddaughter. Campbell has publicly stated her desire to understand Isabelle's motives, asking, "What made him take my daughter from me? What made him take my grandbaby from me? They didn't do anything to deserve this." The lack of closure, particularly due to baby Kennedy's body never being found, has added to the family's pain. If you found this story as shocking as we did, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Criminologist for more deep dives into the darkest true crime cases.